Choose someone.
I saw your hand up first.
Let's go to the third row.
Thank you. Okay, so very quickly, something that I have discovered is that often I need to have meaningful discussions with my audience in order to build a strategy, and Twitter and Facebook are not cutting it for that. It's often what works there are jokes and memes and just trying to see what actually works with my sense of humor.
Yep.
So a lot of my audience has discovered me through Reddit because my videos get shared there very often. So some audiences started building a Reddit, and I have gotten involved because I believe that will be the place to have those discussions. However, as you mentioned, the game theory subreddit is notorious for being complicated. Yeah. So my question to you is, have you learned any important lessons from that experience with Reddit that maybe someone that is dwelling into that could use?
I think at the end of the day, what you really got to focus on is remember that when you're talking to like a subset of your audience on Reddit, like that is indeed a subset. Like it is a very specific user community that goes to Reddit and it has kind of like a personality of their own, right? And so those couple thousand people for me on Reddit don't necessarily speak to this 7+ million subscribers that we have on the channel, right? And so, you know, going into like getting more data points for your own kind of decision making via the YouTube comments or, you know, wherever you kind of want to grow your audience, via other comment systems or just overall like post viewership or video viewership is going to tell you a lot, right? So, you know, I learned early on that like people really like lore theories on game theory, even though no commenter, no Reddit thread or anything would ever tell me that. But by looking at like just general trends in viewership, I'm like, oh, people like the lore theories because those are the ones that are getting the most clicks, those are the ones that's getting the most shares. There's a subset of people who really like the math ones and I still want to work those in. But when it comes to speaking to most of the audience, the viewership trends and the data told me everything that I needed to know, even though an individual commenter or a specific thread might not be able to articulate that sort of thing.
Let's go over here next.
What's the best way to deal with hate?
Jill.
I think it's a tricky one. It really depends on the situation. A lot of people will say just ignore it, but I am personally in the camp that says if you can reply saying, hey, what you said hurt my feelings, a lot of the time people don't realize that you're going to see it or that it's actually going to hurt your feelings. I've had so many people be like, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't actually know that you would read that. I won't ever do that again. And I'm like, okay, that's good. I feel like I've actually done something positive that's actually changed their mind about what they're saying. And that's a lot better than just ignoring it and blocking them. But then if they, you know, don't respond well to that kind of please stop, it's hurt my feelings, then you can block them and definitely try to ignore them.
The other thing to remember is like we are psychologically, as humans, we're psychologically programmed to have the like negative things jump out to us. It's just the way our brains are programmed, unfortunately. And so even though you might have a bunch of positivity around you, and we do on the game theory stuff, it's always that like 1 or 2 comments or a couple thousand comments where people are like, you forgot this, or you suck because you didn't mention this, or you're the worst creator ever, and like those are the ones that stick with you. And so it's just always it's always important to remember to step back and be like, hey, this is one comment in a sea of people who are enjoying what I'm doing. And you know, the other thing to remember, again, similar to the last question, that the commenters are a subset of your audience, right? Not every, you know, on a video of ours that gets 1 million views, 10,000 people comment, and that's a small number in proportion. And so the bulk of people are watching your video and appreciating it, but might not be saying it. You know, the commenters are just the people who like just really want to have their voices heard, and a lot of times it's more for them than it is for you.
Great. Let's do one more. Let's go back here.
I like the guy who reached for the microphone, even though he's like, I don't have a question.
Thank you. Just a quick question. Have you guys ever thought about expanding onto Weibo or Baidu?
Oh, interesting. Weibo is like the largest video platform in China. You get creators that have like 3 million followers that average like 20 million views.
Yeah. Yes, actually. So one of the big, I completely avoided your question, unfortunately, and I apologize. There was so much to talk about earlier about like where are you headed to next. One of the big things that we're currently working on is rolling out international versions of game theory and figuring out how do you know, because game theory and film theory are very English-centric formats, right? They're very scripted, they're very wordy, you know, and so we're trying to figure out, and based on our demographics, it's all in English-speaking territories. So how can we roll out what we do into other platforms, into other audiences who are around the world? And so right now we're talking to a lot of international creators who can be the voice of game theory in Portuguese, in Chinese, or whatever, and we're figuring out how do we kind of manage that pipeline, how do you optimize content for those different, like, there's a lot of language barriers to overcome, there's a lot of, you know, just trouble with understanding those marketplaces, you know, how you find those people, monetization is less in a lot of those places. So there's a lot of questions to answer when it comes to international markets, and it's a lot harder than I think people assume it is. I don't know, not a lot of people have done it though, so maybe people just assume it's too hard. So we're currently working on it, but yeah, that's something that we're definitely like very seriously pursuing in 2017. Like that's one of our big goals for this year.
As a one-woman operation on my channel that is not fluent in any other languages, I will not be branching into other countries with different languages.
Well, it's also hard. Like we have the benefit, luckily, of like a VO format that's all scripted and like, you know, I show my face every once in a while in like the main game theory episodes, but it's only for like a joke and it's easily edited out. Whereas, you know, you are yourself, you are a personality and people are coming like for you. Whereas for me, yeah, some people are coming for MatPat, but also some people are just coming for the format and the topic. And so I think certain formats and certain creators lend themselves to more international expansion than others.
That's great, that's great. Well, thank you both so much for your time and being here. You both have...
You too, Ricky.
Oh, thank you. And yeah, let's give them another hand, everyone.
The microphone. All right, ask someone near you and then move to a different place. That's my new strategy.
Good, I like it.
Hi. We have a book club with our friends, and I would like to ask you if you could recommend some books for it.
Oh, yeah! I'd love to. Wait, where do you live? Because it depends.
I live in Rotterdam.
In Rotterdam?
Yeah.
Nice town.
Yeah, good, very good town. Know
But it's
nothing about it.
But relevant to it's in the Netherlands.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Good job, John. They have a really good dam.
I'm a geographer.
I'm at the Deer Hunkin' John
So the book
Q&A
that I love the
thing,
most
session
right
thing.
now it's a huge bestseller
I'm
in the
here
United
too,
States, and it's
also.
one of the best books I've read in like 10 years. It's called The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, but it's not out in the Netherlands yet. I hope it will be soon. I don't know. Good morning, Hank. It's good. Wait, what is the line?
Good morning, Hank. It's Tuesday. You did it right.
Good morning, Hank. It's Tuesday. Yeah. On three. If you can, are you recording, Hank? Don't lose this. Don't lose this footage. Like you lost your laptop. Sorry. Had you forgotten about it? I just didn't know if you needed a reminder.
The thing is at VidCon, everyone's always coming up to you and being like, "How are things going?" And every time someone says that, it's like, "I still don't have my laptop." That's what my brain is immediately like. Do you have your laptop? No, you don't. Stop asking.
I have literally seen 150 different people ask Hank if he has his laptop. It's not looking great for that laptop. Okay. What you say is good morning, Hank. It's Tuesday. 3, 2, 1. Good morning, Hank. It's Tuesday. Oh, that was so good. Thank you so much. Thank you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being awesome. Get that camera out of my face. Thank you guys so much. And Hank, we're going to do the closeout of our podcast.
Right. I don't know how it ends.
Oh, we didn't do sponsors.
Oh shoot, I don't remember any of what we talked about. This podcast is sponsored by this card game that the guy gave to me.
And also this podcast is, of course, brought to you by Baby Oren. Baby Oren. It's okay to cheer for him now, just not earlier.
This podcast is additionally brought to you. What did we talk about? This podcast is, of course, brought to you by Peanut M&Ms and Talking Like Yoda. It's Peanut M&Ms and Talking Like Yoda, available pretty much for the rest of my life every time I meet somebody who was at this event.
And lastly, this podcast is brought to you. Wait, who, what? Give me something. And lastly, this podcast is brought to you by Not Touching Public Toilet Seats. Not touching public toilet seats, a thing in John's life for the last 25 years. Thank you guys for listening and for being here. And as we say in our hometown, don't forget to be awesome. Thanks. Bye, guys.
Thank you so much. That was very good warming up the crowd. They're piping hot at this point, clearly, after that comic genius. Hold on, sorry. Hold on, can you help me out here? Just roll on this, thanks. All right, thank you very much, everybody. Okay, hello, everybody. I'm Freddie Wong, co-founder of a company called Rocket Jump, and we make internet videos, YouTube videos. Yeah, all right. Okay, that's what we're all here for. And we're, I think, a little bit different than sort of, first of all, it's always funny to me whenever I get the call from Hank, and they're like, hey, would you like to come to VidCon? Because I always feel like, really? Because we're lame now, so like, I don't know why you guys want to invite us. But they continue to, so I'll continue to say yes to that. But we started off making short films, and we've been doing that for over 7 years now, which on the internet is like, you know, it might as well be, you know, you started 100 years ago, because that's how, like when we started, like Reddit wasn't a thing. Like when we started, dig.com was like the site you went to, which is, right, like, yeah, dig, you know. So stuff changes quite a bit, and we were thinking a lot about, because there's a lot of controversy and stuff going around on YouTube now, you know, there's like, ooh, all the ad sales people are leaving, and all the companies are leaving, and nobody wants to, you know, advertise on YouTube, and all these, you know, there's all this YouTube drama now, and money is such a big part of, I think, what people think about, because again, you know, when we started, money had just entered the equation, like the whole ad program and everything that was like just starting up, and then now you hear stories, obviously, of those kids who, you know, do Minecraft videos and they can afford like a BMW in high school, and they're making more money than their parents, and so a lot of stuff has changed. But you know, I think the thing that, if I were to sort of give one piece of advice, or thing that we've been thinking a lot about online video, is it's kind of weird, because the thing that's the most important right now is, everyone talks about views, right? You know, it's like, oh, you gotta get views, you gotta get subscribers, you gotta get likes, so all these numbers, right? Facebook shares, Facebook, you know, video views, how many views are you getting? There's all these numbers that we measure how good a video does. And it struck us as kind of a bad measurement, because that measurement, at the end of the day, if you really think about it, is measuring eyeballs, right? It's how many times someone sees your thing. And you know, when we were kind of in our heyday, and this is like, you know, 5 years ago, you know, we were just, you know, 3 million views, 4 million views, 5 million views. And as time has gone on, I think we've learned that like eyeballs is not as important as, I think, the other thing that I think there is no measurement for, and the thing that we think a lot about now, which is what's more important than eyeballs is hearts. You don't want to get eyeballs. Eyeballs are cheap, because people can go by, and there's, you know, so many things that you could be watching online. They might come by, they might watch your video, they might, you know, move on, and that person might never come back again. So eyeballs are cheap. But if you can get someone who's like a real fan of you, you know, and you can actually talk to them and engage with them directly, that's worth so much more than somebody who's driving by. Like, you'd rather have a small group of people who are really into what you're doing than millions and millions of people who kind of, you know, watch you on their lunch break and they don't really care and they sort of move on. So the thing that I think is probably the most important then, and I think what's changing now, because again, all this ad stuff and all this sort of drama that's going on, is what's always, I think, been the same, which is the goal should be, if you're a creator, don't worry about trying to get a bunch of eyeballs to your stuff. Worry about trying to get hearts. Worry about trying to get people to really engage with you on a level that isn't just a drive-by view, that isn't just like watching something and then moving on. And that's hard. That's a lot harder than it is to like make something, you know, that has a clickbaity title and a super clickbaity thumbnail and all that stuff. And I know, talking to some of you, I had a creator chat this morning. A lot of you are as creators thinking about like, how do I get myself out there? How do I get views? And I think the thing I would emphasize is it might be good, and it feels good to get views, and it feels good to sit and watch numbers go up. But if you want to make a career out of this or a hobby out of this, that's less important in the long run than getting people to sit down and actually really engage with you. So, I think it also that goes two ways. So if you are somebody who likes watching somebody else, I think realize that the world is changing in a way that we have to support the things that we love financially. We have to really, sit down and say, if I really do like this, how can I support this that's beyond just sitting here and watching it in whatever way that you can. So that's my message, my 5 minutes, very simply. Don't worry so much about eyeballs, worry about trying to get people's hearts. Thank you.
A master of technology, clearly. This man educates others about video.
Somebody broke my camera.
No, it's not broken, it's just different.
No, it's fine. It's a GoPro. I think you can throw these
Ready?
around.
Your time is done.
Okay, bye.
Okay, guys. Since Mamrie Hart got to tell a joke she made up, I would like to tell you a joke I made up. Backstage. Backstage. I made this up yesterday. No, it's not backstage. You've had time to workshop it? It's not any better. Okay. So, what do you guys call it when a couple signs a legal document before adopting a pet? A pre-puptual. As the laughometer says. The thing about YouTube is you just gotta put yourself out there. You really do. I think hashtag brave. Would you like to introduce our next person, so that's not the last thing you did on stage? I would like to introduce somebody who puts a lot of thought and effort into their videos and is very good at them. Please welcome to the stage, Matt Patch.
That's the level of comedy you would expect from me on this stage too. So hey, I just found that I have 5 minutes instead of 10 minutes, so let's get through this a lot faster, shall we? So for those of you who don't know, my name is Matthew Patrick, better known as Matt Pat, and I run the channels Game Theorist, Film Theorist, and GT Live on YouTube, where basically we objectively do the nerdiest things online. Like, there's a lot of nerdy channels on YouTube, but we do the nerdiest ones because we take video games, movies, and TV, apply math, science, and history, and create nerdy conclusions like Super Mario is a sociopath based on the Encyclopedia of Abnormal Psychology. Or, hey, who's a fan of Frozen? Well, hey, not as many of you as I thought. I'm surprised, actually. Well, this is late. But Anna and Elsa would not be genetically related if you run their genes through a Punnett square based on their eye and hair color and stuff. So, like, that's what I do. But the reason I'm on stage today and talking a lot faster, it's already 3:50 in there, this is terrible, is the fact that I wanted to talk about hate comments. That part of the internet that all of us hate, like a chill goes through the air, like, oh no, we're talking about the comment section. The most dreaded part of the internet. And my message for you today, because I get the question all the time, how do you deal with hate? My answer to you, embrace the hate. I'm a guy who is literally the lightning rod of hate on YouTube, so you can take my word for it. My job is literally to say, hey, that childhood character that you loved for all these years, secretly evil, or dead, or both. That's what I do. So I deal with a lot of hate. So I have 3 steps for you on how to deal with internet hate. First and foremost is to recognize that if you're getting hate comments and you feel overwhelmed by hate comments, it's important to remember that humans are psychologically primed to actually react more strongly to negativity. It is a failing of our human brain, but despite all the hundreds of positive comments we might get on a daily basis, between all the 100 views that are really positive, the thousands of views that are like, I like this video, we are genetically programmed for our brains to have those hate comments, those negative moments, jump out to us. Moments like XX Sephiroth Lover XX, who says, hey, your vids suck and you should go die now. Thank you. Or, hey, Matt Pat, you're getting fatter today. Thank you so much, guys. It is just a human part of the condition, and so don't worry about it. Science has proven time and time again that bad news and negative news stories sell more papers than positive and happy news stories. It's shown that negative words draw our attention more than positive words. It's even shown that when we're presented with a series of choices, we tend to focus on what we stand to lose rather than what we stand to gain. And as a result, people tend to want to actively avoid negativity online. They actively want to avoid those places on the internet. Places for me that are like the Game Theorist subreddit, where every single post is like, wow, your old vids suck, wow, your new vids suck, or wow, you just suck in general. Funny story, the other day there was a thread on the subreddit that's like, why doesn't MatPat post here anymore? And I'm like, do you even read, bro? Like, look at everything else that's here. But no, I do still go to that subreddit and read what people are saying because it's easy online to want to stay in your safe zone. It's easy to want to avoid the negativity, which leads to step 2 of dealing with negative comments, which is recognizing that a lot of negative comments are generated from people being pulled out of their comfort zones. It's a lot of talk going around online these days about how the internet and how social media and YouTube and Twitter and Facebook are all these echo chambers where people go to engage with posts or creators that mirror what they're feeling, what they're saying, their belief systems, whether right or wrong, and that they're tuning out or actively avoiding, having thoughtful discussions or having their beliefs challenged. And that is a dangerous place to be in online. And so as creators, if you're getting negative comments, then there's a high likelihood that you're just pulling people out of their comfort zone, that you're exposing them to new ideas, that you are slowly engaging them in a series of thoughts that they might not have witnessed before. And that's a good thing. That is a positive thing, and it is a necessary thing on the internet now more than it is ever. And that is what is so special about YouTube and digital video. So embrace the hate. Know and rest assured that you are helping educate your audience, that you're educating the broader community. And then step 3, when it comes to hate comments, is change. As you grow, and as you grow comes more hate. There becomes a lot more negativity in those comment sections, and that's because you're growing and changing and maturing as a creator, as an artist. And that's a good thing. That is a great sign. Because sure, it sucks to see negativity in the comments, but rest assured that you're maturing in your craft. And that, yeah, you might lose people who are saying like, oh, your old videos are better, or oh, where's this channel gone to? But those are the people who are just afraid of change. Don't let that scare you away. At the end of the day, the people who truly matter, the community that truly matters around your videos, are the ones who are committed to you as you go through this entire journey and are with you for every single project, no matter where you go. So those are the 3 points to dealing with hate comments in a much abbreviated form than I expected, much more abbreviated form than I expected. Just remember that most hate comments are generated either psychologically, they feel worse than they are, sociologically, where you're pulling people out of their comfort zone and out of their echo chambers, or just evolutionarily. You as a creator are evolving and growing and becoming more mature. And as far as I'm concerned, all 3 of those things are good, positive ways to look at negative comments. Oh, and there is a 4th way. Yeah, let's start the applause early, that's fine. There is, but if none of those were satisfying for you, there is a 4th one, which is basically like, hey, the haters watched the video in the first place, so you already got their view. But not only that, they're also the type of people who like click on that video 7 more times to like see like, oh, who replied to me? Oh, let me get into a hate comment thread with this person. So thanks for the 7 views, bro. Anyway, thank you.
He's really good. You guys ever watch his videos? They're really good, informative, succinct, unlike this next.
No, we've got this up-and-comer who's going to come out here and talk to you a little bit. We've done a couple collabs with her.
We're trying to help her out,
Yeah.
It's just hard because it's like, girl can't, she used to post like videos all the time.
Now it's only 3 times a week.
Lazy.
So lazy.
So lazy. Anyway, we call her Lazy Gracie. Please welcome Grace Helbig!
You're welcome. You can do whatever you want. We have your champagne coming out shortly. We know you requested it.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. First of all, can we give a big round of applause to YouTube's sloppiest sister wives, Hannah and Mamrie. Really great job. Thank you guys for being here. I don't have anything too well thought out to talk to you about today, but I wrote down some notes because my brand is very homemade, and so this is very on brand for that. I think you guys have probably been hearing a lot of really important and exciting information all day, so I wanted to kind of give you a little bit from my point of view about things I've learned in the last 7 years of content creation, making videos and collaborating with other content creators. And I tried to condense it into an acronym that'll help you remember all of these tips and tricks after this whole presentation is done. So the first thing, the first concept I think is hugely important in any creative endeavor is to follow your fear. I started doing improv comedy in 2008 in New York City, and that was one of the core fundamental principles of improv, is following your fear. Lots of things in the creative world can seem totally scary, but I think fear is more of an emotion that shows you care about the thing that you want to endeavor onto, the thing that you want to create. If you're afraid of it, it usually means, cool, you're interested in it, you care about not screwing it up, or you care about doing it at all at any point in your life. So check in with yourself. A lot of times we use fear as a deterrent to keep us from doing anything, and try and switch the narrative in your head of, if you're afraid of something, that means you care about it, and caring about things is cool. It means you're not a robot, and I'm totally afraid of AI. So the second part is authenticity, and this is a word that gets thrown around so much that it seems so stupid at this point, but it's thrown around so much because it is true that people are attracted to people. That means flaws, foibles, anything about you that makes you specifically, uniquely you. I was just reading some Dr. Seuss quotes, because that's what I do in my free time as a 31-year-old adult woman. And I read this quote from one of his books that says, "Today you are you. That is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you." And I think that whole sentiment, as childlike as it sounds, is so important for everything you do, that you want to make sure that you are presenting yourself in a creative endeavor as yourself and not a copy of something else, because the things that no one else has that you have are what make you stand out and what make you way more interesting to other people. The third factor I have for you is realistic goals. It is so important to set realistic goals. For the first 4 years of making videos online, I kept thinking every video was a failure because it wasn't a viral video. And then I realized that that is a completely unrealistic goal. You will never make a viral video, nor should you want to make a viral video, because that means you're a flash in the pan scenario, and if you want sort of longevity, it's great to set realistic goals, realistic numbers, realistic subscriber counts, or whatever it might be for you, that are attainable. If you say, I'm going to start my YouTube channel and next week I want 1 million subscribers, and it doesn't happen, you're going to feel like a piece of shit, and that's not the best kind of motivational feeling to have to create your channel. So set really small, mundane goals. If you want 10 people to watch this video, if they do it, that means you succeed, and rewarding yourself for your successes is also really fun. I love giving gifts to myself, which is always a really great thing. I mean, especially if you get a little intoxicated and you go on Zara.com. I mean, it's just inevitable. You've done great work, self. The fourth factor here is to try and try again. If something doesn't work, if you create a video, if you create any form of content that wasn't as successful as you wanted it to be, try it again. The internet is this amazing, open forum in which you can do as much as you want or as little as you want. You can try every incantation of every idea you have, and no one's going to stop you. I was auditioning for TV and film before I did anything online professionally, and in TV and film, people stop you. You go to casting directors, and they tell you, no, you are not right for this, but you can go home and post a video, and no one tells you no. I once went on a commercial audition. It was a German commercial, and they wouldn't tell us what it was about at all, but the whole audition was just, we had to stand in a room and stare directly at the camera lens for 60 seconds, silent. That was it. That's all we had to do. And I did not book that part. But I have uploaded a video to YouTube in which I've stared silently at a camera for 60 seconds, and no one told me I couldn't do it. So, keep going, guys. The fifth part here is to appreciate. Really, really appreciate any audience that you build, because I think the wonderful thing about the community online is that it's so incredibly supportive, and not only are your viewers your friends and your acquaintances, but they're also your boss in some way. They're the people that allow you to create opportunities in which you can do more and more and more. And so appreciating the content creators around you, the opportunities to create in a free space online, and the people that are spending time watching anything you do is amazing. I like to say a lot that YouTube is a free platform in a lot of ways, so people pay you in their attention. So you have to be really, really, in my opinion, grateful for that. But you do you. If you love to be selfish, go on with your bad self. The sixth thing is support. And this comes in all various forms. Collaboration is hugely key, in my opinion, to growing a YouTube channel, and collaborating with content creators that are on the same level as you, or a little bit higher than you. It's that realistic goal thing comes back into play. Is try to work with people that are coming up at the same time that you are. Hannah, Mamrie, and I all met each other at basically the same level of content creation, and we immediately became friends, and now we collaborate on various platforms because we are like-minded in our sensibilities in comedy. We're hard workers, and we genuinely enjoy each other's company. So reach out to people that you're inspired by, or people that you love the content of, or that you want to just get to know, because this is an amazing community that's been established on the idea of collaboration versus competition. So take advantage of that. And then the last thing to build a great YouTube channel is sexy as fuck thumbnail. If you want views, that's one of the main reasons that you will get views, is a sexy, sexy thumbnail. So just to go over all of that, follow your fear, authenticity, realistic goals, try again, appreciate, support, and sexy thumbnail. And if you put that all on the line, it spells out fart ass. So just remember, fart ass. Thank you guys very much.
Good job, Gachi.
Really good. Wow.
Oh my god.
Look, are these couches been here this whole time?
And I was like, have these been here the whole time? So I thought we'd just do this.
Let's see.
For the last intro. Take a little weight off of us.
I'm taking a book out of old fart ass's book.
What?
Page out of. Page is the phrase.
Okay.
I get some not good when I'm laying down.
I'm not either. I was getting heartburn.
No, guys, that's really all we got. So this next person will be doing a performance again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very exciting. But we thought that we'd take...
Let's do a 2-question lightning round Q&A since we don't have a keynote. Who's got a question for us?
You, sir, with the shirt. Hi. How are we? Very good.
Next question.
Madam in the varsity jacket avoiding eye contact. Yeah, me with the bow. If you're wearing a bow, you're asking for attention. Oh, sorry. Well,
look at the damn hair. It not only looks like it just sprouted from the earth, like a weird kind of wheat,
like a god.
It also is like a spout, like this is how you'd see a whale pop up out of the water.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, and for those of you that don't know what we're referring to, you should follow all of us on all of our forms of social media. But you know who else you should follow? Our next performer in for a musical treat, Dodie Clark.
It is, but I got it. It was good.
Yeah.
What do we got?
We're waiting for that mic. But it's just my con man joke was all I had.
It killed. It killed.
He's a real. His friends in high school called him Spank.
So never let him forget that. Please welcome Hank Green.
Sometimes you say something to someone in confidence.
And sometimes you don't.
The sprout gotcha.
Oh, hi, everyone. Thank you for coming to VidCon Europe here in Amsterdam. This is awesome. Dodie, wow. As she came back off stage, I said a thing that I've noticed a lot when I have a thing that I'm working on that's definitely good, it takes way more time because I don't want to put it out until it's perfect, which is always the biggest, terriblest mistake you can make, or it can be. Sometimes it's great, especially if you aren't required to upload a video every single Friday. But yeah, I have a bunch of videos that are like, these are great video ideas, and thus I will never make them because if I need a solid 40 hours of working on this video before I can make it happen, and I tend to not do that. Anyway, that's what I wasn't here to say. I just ordered from a Malaysian restaurant, and they sent me a half a chicken, which is what I asked for. Twist. I thought it wasn't going to be, but no. But they didn't send me a knife or fork, which I thought was pretty ambitious of them. They were like, here, we brought you this half of an animal, dead, roasted. Enjoy, with your mouth and fingers. I don't know. I don't know how food delivery works here. Do they not send you silverware? Nope. Oh, it's universal no. You just have, well, I guess, yeah, you have silverware if you are not backstage at an event where there's lots of microphones, not a lot of forks. Anyway, raise your hand if you are from this country. Raise your hand if you're not from this country. Oh, wow. Okay, good. Raise your hand if you're from, all the people who aren't, well, okay, raise your hand if you're European. If you're from Europe, okay. Well, raise your hand if you're British, because you don't count anymore. I'm just saying, we're probably going to get this data other ways, but it is helpful for me. Raise your hand if you speak more than one language. Oh man, you guys are too good. We're so dumb in America. We're like, why would we spend time learning another language? We're learning nothing. Like instead, we've got like all the same things you have. What do we do with that time that we could be learning two? Raise your hand if you speak more than 2 languages. Man! Okay, more than 3. Yeah, wow, that's still a lot of people. Raise your hand if you make content in a non-English language. Okay, thank you. Awesome. So this is the thing that I've been really fascinated by. Like the story for me of YouTube for the last couple of years. The story in the news has been like, this person's huge and they have so much money and so many views. Is this counting down? It is. Oh my. I didn't realize I had so little time. I'm gonna go over. That's fine. I own the conference. Travis backstage, I'm sure, is laughing, but also with a look on his face that's, I can see it now. He thinks, oh, that's clever, that's great, Hank, but also, god dang it. Anyway, the story in the news, in terms of content creation, has been like, this one made so many $1 million. We've got the scoop. There's all this money to be made. And that's good news, I guess. Like, it works well, it plays well. But for me, like, looking at what's happening in this industry for the last couple of years, it's really been a story about content getting made for groups of people who never would have had stuff made for them before. And, go internet, go content, go destroy the barriers to distribution. We should all be able to make stuff. Woo! So, like, it's not a statistic that's talked about, that there are now, like, over 1,000 YouTube channels with more than 1 million subscribers. And there are, like, 50,000 YouTube channels with more than 100,000 subscribers. That's nuts. Like, when I was starting, like, getting anything like the kind of viewership that now is completely ignored, was the biggest YouTube channel. Like, there are YouTube channels now that no one knows anything about, that are not big deals, that are, like, chugging along, doing their thing, they have great audiences, that are bigger than the biggest YouTube channels, they were having news stories published about them back in 2008. That's the story. The story is the number of people who can do this now. The story is the fact that there are so many more people who can create professionally than, like, in terms of absolute numbers, than ever before in human history. Like, that we get to do this and it gets to be, like, maybe all of or maybe part of the way that we support ourselves. Now, there probably were times when it was a greater percentage of humans, though. And so we still have a ways to go. Like, before this consolidation of media, and I'm talking about before mass media existed, before recorded music existed, when performance was the only way to hear or to see an entertainment, whether that was a play or to listen to music, there were way more people, percentage-wise, who were able to make a living making their art or performing their art. And that's a thing that we don't think about. Like the first job that technology truly disrupted, this probably isn't true, but it's definitely it's up there, was the professional performer. You know, Edison's little cylindrical wax thing, it made it possible for there to be superstars. And for every superstar, for every person who was making $1 million, that's 30 people who can't make 30,000, you know? And that, I want to live in a world not with more people who are making $10 million a year, but with more people who are making $50,000 a year. That's so much more interesting. It's not the great story, but the number of people who are able to do that is fascinating. And the thing that is different is that now we have, it has come full circle, where now we have the ability to control the content. We have the ability to choose what gets viewed and choose what gets listened to, both as creators of content and consumers of content. That kind of begs for audiences to be more discerning and choose more carefully what they're watching. And I think that's starting to happen, where people are looking for the thing that is specific for them. And so while there's definitely a much larger English language audience in the world, not just because there's America and the UK and Australia, but also because people all over the place speak English, whether that's China or India or here in Europe. There's lots of English speakers in the world. It just rebooted and now I've got 36 more seconds. So they're like, Hank, seriously. I just thought I had 10 minutes and I was wrong. But you'd think I'd know. Yeah, so finding that, and the culture of the place where you live is an amazing and excellent niche. And you can combine that with other things my go-to example is always model trains, which is the dumbest example because no one's into model trains anymore. Maybe in Germany. No, not those Germans. But I bet that, no, you're wrong. I've seen YouTube videos of a conference in Germany where they, it's grown men in their 60s. And they are very popular and they take their models very seriously. And if you watch these videos, you will be captivated by their enthusiasm for their very large but still not actual sized dump trucks. It's great. It's very good content for children who are show me the trucks on YouTube? This is good. I like this. Anyway, there's just everything. I love that there's everything. And so the unreported story is the number of people who are finding a smaller audience, and they may not be making $1 million a year. They may not be making even enough to support them full time, but they're making enough to supplement their income, and they're also getting to create, and they're getting to create something for people who love that thing. And they're getting to love it semi-professionally. And what better job in the world could there be than loving the thing you love and getting paid a little bit or a lot for it? Sometimes I feel as this industry has progressed, we hear a lot about the problems. And I do want to talk about the problems, and I do want to confront the problems, and we do have issues in this industry for sure. We've been faced with some of those over the last few weeks. But I really also just want to be very happy that it's an opportunity, and not one that everybody's going to hit a home run with, but that we get to create and do it in a way that has never been possible before. I'm very thankful for, and I'm thankful for all the people in this room who are thinking hard about that stuff and who are making stuff that they love. So thank you all so much for coming out. Travis, you're fantastic.
Weren't they wonderful? We hope you absorbed a lot and enjoyed you. VidCon you. Use the hashtag VidCon you. And have a great second day. Get some rest.
Get some rest, and be sure to check out our next panel, the Holy Trinity panel tomorrow, where we are even funnier.
And less prepared, if that's possible.
Yeah, thank you guys. Have a great night.
About you guys again at the end of the day.
What I learned? There's a lot of things I learned. I feel like, I mean, firstly, audio is very important. That's one thing I learned, because the audio, I don't, like I said, I don't have a huge mic, but a big part of this video was me talking, and I got a few comments saying I didn't really hear what you were saying and stuff like that, so that's something important to think about. But I also learned I've always been scared to kind of make videos about myself and my experiences, or I've always been thinking about what other people would like to see. But this was really something for me, and about something that I did, and something that I found fun, and my trip. And I didn't really think people would be interested in that in my life. But if you really enjoy doing something, people are gonna enjoy watching it.
What did I learn? I just, like, it can be so hard sometimes to make, like, films and stuff. This one was just a constant, like I said, we didn't have a location, days before the shoot, children, you know, like we were planning at one point to just, like, with a much smaller camera, just go into a forest, very, like, skeleton crew, small amount of people with these kids. And just before we realized we would go to prison if we did that.